Hello and welcome back to another painting video. Today you're going to be painting the Core Fighter, Core Lander from the Seed Strike Gundam Assemble set. Now this is our first one here. We're going to start with an off-white. Actually no, we don't do that. You start with a gray, a medium sea gray, to do some like dry brush coats onto this guy. That's how we do these. It's been a while. I've filmed a whole bunch of videos, and then I was like, I'm caught up now. And then now I'm not caught up anymore. So I'm like, oops, I gotta get to it again. I've also painted some other things off camera just to kind of get some ideas and stuff for other videos. And we can say finally that I have a paint scheme for my orcs all figured out now. We're ready to go. So there'll be some orcs coming for Age of Sigmar. Also, we didn't glue this onto the thing, so we can take this off and get the bottom. So we're doing a dry brush of a gray here, just to get a gray tone into some of those like other recesses and to help with some of the application of the color that we're going to do. So that's all we need for the gray there. We don't need a ton on here. Let's take all that off our brush. So the Core Fighter, this honestly, like out of all the starter sets, this one is the one I'm the least excited to be painting. We're gonna go to an off-white here from AK Interactive, AK Colors. I don't know what this brand's called. But yeah, this is the one I'm the least excited about painting, just because it's like two Strike Gundams and then the Skygrasper / Core Lander or whatever it is in this one. I forget what it's called in this one. But the title of the video will be the right name. But yeah, it's not like super duper exciting, and especially like this, I know I get it if you guys clicked on this video and were like, oh, it's just this little guy. It's not even like the one with all the strike pack on it, but that's because the strike pack's on the Strike Gundam, but we didn't glue it, so we can always put it on later. So now we're getting that off-white and we're gonna dry brush it, but it's like a heavy dry brush. It's not anywhere close to like a normal dry brush. So we can avoid this middle part here because it is a different color. It is blue, so we don't have to worry too much about getting that with our white. But we do want a nice coating on the rest of the plane for the Core Lander, Core Fighter situation. It is mostly just white. Let's just get all of that. We can pop that off and get the underside here. There we go. That's for the most part going to be the white that we have on this guy. We're not going to do like a crazy hard white pass on this. We don't even have to do the wash probably. I do reserve the right to do the wash later, but for now, this is fine. I usually have the instruction booklet out here to show you the colors and stuff like that, but it's kind of misleading in the instruction booklet. It doesn't really show this assembled how this is, and it just like on the box it shows like, hey, you can have this guy, and this guy. It's like you can if you don't build the other one. So we built it a different way, so we don't have the option to do that. So this guy's mostly white. Then we're gonna go to our blues that we've been using. This is this deep blue from AK. plate there. Get our brush. Get this guy. Get our blue. Okay, and then we're gonna hit the blue areas. What are the blue areas? Well, they are this square on the cannon right here. So this little guy. They are this leading edge of the wing here. I'm just being pretty careful not to hit the white areas. Just gonna try our best to get in between here. The gun is a gray, so it's okay if we kind of lean more toward that area, because if we're gonna get over it later. Then the leading edge on the fins here. We're gonna do the same to this side. I'm just gonna we'll make sure we get this side so that it's shown. And we're gonna flip it over just while we have this and just finish off that edge here and there. Same thing here. Okay, and then there's the inside here. This inside piece. These boosters. Get the backs in there. Make sure we're getting good. Even coverage throughout. Like I said, this one was going to be a little boring, so I apologize for that, but it is part of the process. It is part of the set. So we are going to show it. I don't like to take shortcuts in that step, in that sense of things. So that is the blue. So now, you could be asking yourself, was there red on it? It's because Gundam, that has the red, white, and blue. This does not have that. Just has the, what is this? This is orange, right? Yeah, I was like, some of these colors, like, so this is my yellow that we're gonna use next, the flat yellow. But you can see this, it's separated, and you're like, oh, it's yellow. No, it's actually an orange. So that's why shaking your paints is important before you get up in there. So let me give this a really good shake. And then we'll put that down on our palette here. And then go into our yellows, which are these little forward edges here of this little thing. And then the tips, so we're gonna take this off here. The tips of these boosters here. So you can see there's a little division between sections, a little panel line. You could see it in person. There's a little panel gap right there, and that's where we're putting this. I'm just gonna fill that in. And then the same thing for this side. And just take your time. And just be careful, and you'll get it. That's it for the yellow. Now we're gonna go back to our medium sea gray that we put down originally for the painting, and we're gonna just get a couple of these areas. We're gonna get the cockpit here, just to fill it in. Right here. And then we'll do the same for these little blasters here. As well as this one up here. And we're probably gonna take a different color to that at this point because I'm seeing how light it is. And that I did say that we weren't gonna redo the white, but we might because it is pretty dark. So now let's get some basalt gray. That's what we were using for our black, that's what I should have used for everything. So now that we have it out, let's go ahead and put it down on the areas that we just put that gray on, and that'll help a lot more, I think. Yeah, you can see it's a lot darker. It separates itself from the base coat that we did. We also want to do this, these little side bits here. And just get the underside. Don't focus too much though, because it is the underside. No one's gonna see it. Okay, and then lastly, we'll get a black. We'll just get a dark gray. No, we'll get black. The black. And we're gonna put it on the nose. The nose of this is black. So just follow those panel lines. You can see them in person. Sorry if you can't really see them on here. And we're just getting that right there. Now this is our chance to kind of go back in with our white and fix it. So we can go here. We can either edge highlight or we can go over whole panels. So let's kind of see where this kind of exploration takes us. We can kind of just not sloppily do this, but kind of just pick our edges and corners that we're gonna actually be doing this to. Do definitely the top surfaces here. You can see it's looking a lot better. So this is what you could always do this instead of washing. You could just take the same color that you were using and then try your best to avoid the cracks and the edges of things. I mean the inside edges of things, to get kind of a like bordered effect. It's also like if you're familiar with Gundam painting, like your pin washing of the whole thing. So instead of doing that, you can just basically start dark and then work your way to light, which is like how I do my airplanes and stuff like that. Is I start dark and then I work my way up to a light. It doesn't have to be a perfect coverage of those panels. It just has to give the idea of the panel. And you can be really light with your brush here and use the edge of it to kind of help yourself skip the recesses. And I would avoid doing the bottom just because it's in shadow, so you don't have to worry about doing it. But if you're gonna do any of it, I would just make sure you're getting these top areas, because if it's like facing up toward the sky, this would be the brightest part. And we did hit some mistakes in there, so we get our blue back to go back in here and just clean up that little edge right there that we got. And also that one a little bit better. And then our basalt gray that we had, we could use to just clean up that side of the cockpit right there. Now at this point, then you could do your wash, or if you wanted to, but we are not going to do a wash like I said on this one, just because it leaves it kind of airplane-y. So that's going to be the core fighter for this set. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll scratch that paint off and see you guys on the next one.